2004 and in 2007 we carried out some research among the Cumbrian public looking at attitudes towards race and diversity. And the 2004 research was really just to start to get a sense of what public perceptions were like. 2007 was really sort of an attempt to see whether anything had changed in the meantime. I would say the key things that we found between 2004 and 2007, just taking those 2 dates, where we've got sort of quite strong evidence, is that racism per se was decreasing. What I think was happening in 2007 though was that there was greater perception of migration and also some issues from the national media around Islam and around different cultures and religions that were starting to sort of emerge in a way that perhaps was stronger than in 2004. We now have probably, I'd say, about 20,000 people in Cumbria who either have a different ethnic origin or nationality to British or white British. That's more than a 50% increase from the time of the last census. What I think that's done is it's created more opportunities for people to actually integrate both ways. And I think it's exposed many people in Cumbria to living and working nearby people from different backgrounds. So I think Cumbria is a place that has had a long history where, particularly in the 20th century, where there's been little diversity. And I think it's in the past decade that diversity has begun to emerge, and therefore you'd expect issues to arise in terms of what does that mean, how do we manage it. It will manifest itself among some people in terms of racism because they're frightened of change. The first thing we've done is we've ensured that all of the public services we provide understand how to provide services to people of an entire range of backgrounds. I think that's the first stance for us, because that covers not just within the County Council schooling, where we can start to introduce race awareness within the curriculum, for example. When the British National Party were quite strong at one point in Carlisle, making claims about migrants taking houses, we did a census and analysing all the social housing in Cumbria and found that less than 2% were going to migrants. So the other 98% were going to white British people. So, you know, just doing things like that, and then we could put it on the website and say, this is false what they're saying, it's dividing communities, don't believe it. I think it is improving attitudes. I think it's raising awareness. I think it's raising awareness among professionals as well, so that when they're dealing with members of the public, they understand what the issues are. Whereas I would say 5 or 6 years ago, race awareness was virtually nowhere to be seen. So that if someone did have a complaint about a hate crime, for example, they would not necessarily get understanding from the police, from the Crown Prosecution Service, from a magistrate. Whereas I'll give you one example where a magistrate was dealing with a case of a hate crime, racially motivated, and they said in a normal situation they would have given that person about a £200 fine. They slapped it up to £500 because it was racially aggravated. You only get that when race awareness is embedded in a system. The EDL might be growing as a result of the fact that the BNP are finding it harder in an open electoral contest to win support. So some of their supporters might be going underground a bit. That may be a factor. And when you're talking with hard right groups, there's a minority of the population, it's about 4% of the British population, most research suggests, who are attracted to far right fascist thinking. You're never going to change them very easily. The question is, does their message resonate with the wider public?